Hello, it's Dr. Michael Arnhem here. This is a new series of videos called Know Your Rights, but this is a special video before the introductory one to celebrate or mark, at any rate, the new reign and the legal aspects of that, because of course today is the day, 8th of September 2022, when Queen Elizabeth died and was immediately, automatically succeeded by her son, the Prince of Wales, who will probably be known as Charles III. There was some speculation that he might prefer to be called George VII, but it seems that he has now opted for Charles III. Slightly controversial, because both Charles I was executed. Charles II, of course, was the merry monarch. There were quite a few scandals associated with him. But more controversial is the title that will be borne by his wife, Camilla. And I haven't introduced you to my associate yet. Bernard, the Barrister Bear. Say hello, Bernard. Hello. Bernard will be assisting me, or associated with me, throughout the whole of this series. You'll be assisting me. I'll be assisting Bernard, of course. Now, Camilla, being the wife of the new king, should simply be the Queen Consort, Queen Camilla. And that is what Queen Elizabeth said she would like. Her exact wishes were, "It is my sincere wish, it is my sincere wish that Camilla be known as Queen Camilla, Queen Consort." She only expressed it as a wish, which is sensible, because actually that is a decision that should be taken by Parliament, and Elizabeth was always very careful not to cause any constitutional problems. And previously it had been said that Camilla would not be Queen Consort, she would be simply Princess Consort, which is a completely unprecedented title. I think it's likely that the late Queen's suggestion that she should be called Queen Consort will be followed. But it is actually a matter for Parliament, and Parliament has, on occasion, diverted from the mainstream and chosen the ruler of its own choosing. James II was effectively deposed by Parliament. They didn't want to say that. They said he'd abdicated, which was not true at all. And they refused to allow his son to be king because he was a Catholic, therefore known to history as the Old Pretender, called himself James III. And instead, Parliament gave the throne to James's daughter, Mary, married to William, the joint monarchy of William and Mary. And after that, the normal rules of heredity followed, because when Mary died, William continued on his own. When he died, Anne, Mary's sister, became queen, and on her death, overlooking again the rightful heir, the son of James II, overlooking them completely, the Stuarts, Parliament went on a fishing expedition right back and then forward to find a Protestant ruler in the shape of the Elector George of Hanover, who became George I, and all subsequent monarchs have been descended from him. So we are in a slightly controversial area there. Also, titulature. Charles I and Charles II were both kings of England, Ireland, and Scotland, so therefore Charles III would be correct, except that neither Charles I nor Charles II was king of a united kingdom. They were kings separately of England and Scotland, and it was just fortunate, in a way, that neither England nor Scotland had had a Charles prior to Charles I, and therefore Charles III would follow on naturally, even though he'd be the first really the first Charles to be king of the United Kingdom. Actually, Elizabeth's title was more controversial because she called herself Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, and when pillar boxes were put up in Scotland on her accession in 1952 with the royal cipher EiiR, Elizabeth II, Regina, Scottish nationalists blew up some of those pillar boxes because they said, "Who is this Elizabeth? How can she be Elizabeth II? She's not Elizabeth II of Scots," because there was an Elizabeth I, but she was Elizabeth of England and Ireland only, not of Scots. And who was, if Elizabeth II is Queen of the United Kingdom, who was Elizabeth I of the United Kingdom? Well, there never was. So that problem was solved by removing the EiiR from the Scottish pillar boxes and replacing it with just a crown. And that's the position to this day. Now, what is the role of the monarchy? That can be a very sensitive topic. Prince Charles, as Prince of Wales, wrote a lot of letters to government, the Prime Minister and a whole lot of ministers, particularly in the years 2004-05. This actually went to court. It ended up in the Supreme Court, UK Supreme Court, which allowed publication of these documents, called the Black Spider Memos because of his handwriting. But actually, they are fairly harmless, but they do deal with policy matters, which, strictly speaking, a monarch, and Prince of Wales as well, should not be involved with. So it's hoped that Prince Charles has learned his lesson from that and will not meddle in such affairs. The late Queen was careful not to, but actually she did occasionally stray into political territory. In particular, on an occasion in 1995, in connection with the 1995 referendum in Quebec on whether Quebec in Canada should remain part of Canada or should secede. But I'll say more about that in a later video. More next time. Bye-bye.